Hi, welcome back. In today's video, we would like to declare and create a class called Shape Calculator. And in this class, there are three functions that calculate area of different geometric shapes. Here, in order to create my class, I type down the name of the keyword class and then the name of the class and then colon. So the name of my class is Shape Calculator. Inside this class, I'm having three functions. The first function is the area of a square. And in order to calculate the area of a square, we need to have one of the sizes of that square. And this is the argument of this function. So whenever we call this function, we at least need to have this number inside the parentheses. When we're calling this function, we must have this number inside the parentheses. And basically, this function is going to multiply sides to itself. A side multiplied by itself is going to be the output. It is going to be the output of the area of a square function. Then we are having another function called area of rectangle, and there are two arguments for this function, length and width. So this function is going to return the multiplication of length and width. So length multiplied by width, it is going to be the output of the area of rectangle function. Then we are having a function called area of a circle, and then we are having the radius as the argument of this function. So one number is needed when we are calling this function. And basically, this function is going to multiply 3.1416 by radius to the power of 2. Okay? So whenever this function is called, this calculation is performed. In order to call the area of a square function, we type down the name of the class, we put a dot, and then the name of the function area of a square. Then inside the parentheses, we need to have one argument because this function requires one argument, which is the side size of that square. And we assume that for example, side equals 4 centimeter. So we call this function, and this function is going to multiply 4 by 4 and return its value. So the output is 16, and 16 is now shown here, and we are basically printing the number 16, which is the output of area of a square function from the shape calculator class. Then here I'm calling the area of rectangle function with two numbers, 5 and 3. So 5 multiplied by 3, it is 15, and 15 is returned. So we are printing number 15, which is the output of area of rectangle function from the shape calculator class. Finally, we are calling the area of circle class, and we are passing number 7 to be the radius. Here, this function is going to calculate this formula, 3.1416 multiplied by radius to the power of 2. So 7 to the power of 2 is then multiplied by this number, and the output is returned. Okay? And we are going to print the output. So when I run this code, we see that first we are having number 16, which is the result of this function. We could also show a message, for example, here we could have a message, the area of square is, so when I run the code one more time, we have a message, so it's more clear in the output. We can do the same for the rest of the functions as well when we are printing their output. For example, here the 16 comes from this function, area of a square, because this is the first function that is being called. So this is why I say that the first result is for the first function, because this is the first time that we are calling a function in this code. So area of a square, 4 multiplied by 4, so the output is 16. Then the 15 is for this function, length multiplied by width, which is 5 multiplied by 3, so the output is 15. And finally, the area of circle we see that this number is shown in the output, which is the multiplication of this number by this number. So 7 to the power of 2 is 49, and then 49 is multiplied by this number, and this is the output of that formula, and then output of that formula is returned here, and it is here. So we are printing the output of the area of a circle function from the shape calculator class. Again, here we grouped the relevant functions inside one class to increase the readability of our code. And in this example, we learned how to call a function from a class, and then how to pass arguments and see the output here in the terminal. Thank you for watching.